What up?
What's
Tree
up?
Hill.
What's poppin'?
Welcome to Shadow Talks. I think that's probably what it's gonna be called. That was kind of the first initial
Yeah,
thing.
that's just it can still be named otherwise or we'll
Whatever
see,
it
right?
turns out to be.
Whatever it
Whatever
turns
we
out.
conversate about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shadow Talks. It was an idea that popped up, and Tree was like, "I'll leave it to you. You can do it." And then she came to me. She's like, "All right, I want to be on every episode with you." And I was like, "All right, let's go." Tree and I have been living at Rainbow Ridge with my family and some friends for the past 9 months or so, and now we're in this church in Denver. With the Holy Carnival. We've literally gotten to know each other over these past few months so deeply, become really good friends and see each other super clearly, and wanted to come on here and just talk and the things that we just see and can talk about openly and freely, and just about seeing the truth and why it's hard for people to look there sometimes. And so got Tree on today. And
What's up, world?
How do you want to start this off? What is truth, and how do you feel when you are confronted with something that you see so clearly, and how do you approach something like that?
It's interesting that you asked me what is truth. Because truth is really everything in everyone's opinion. You know, if I'm experiencing a thing and you're experiencing something different, they're both true. Right? And I feel like that's in part why we as human beings debate and argue about things, because we're not accepting that fact that everyone is looking through their own unique perspective. Some people will agree, some people won't, and that's okay. Now once we begin to accept that, then we can actually see it for what it is and actually choose to be a part of something or not. When we talk about love, when we talk about oneness, and that is what people mean when they say that's the truth. Oh, well, no, this is truth. But what, in my opinion, what I think we mean to say is this is the I am presence, that this is presence. And presence is love, is faith, and so anything out of alignment there we feel. And because we've been feeling the way that we've been feeling, we've also created a thought pattern or thought attached to that feeling. And so in some cases, what we may refer to as our intuition can sometimes be habit, like muscle memory, like addiction.
What you were gonna do.
Right, like the nervous system automatically in fight or flight about whatever that feeling brings up in the body, and then everything is sort of and so we have to sit there. That's the point where that's the glitch, right? That's like that's essentially
what am I about to do?
Right. You asked me another question. I forgot what that was, but it was towards the end.
When you're faced with something so true and you see it so clearly, and it's like you want to speak about the thing, or like you want to not call out the thing, but you see it, so why wouldn't you say something about it if you feel it, So in that moment, because you want if you want to come at it with love, you don't want to hurt the person you're trying to tell. But if you saw it so clearly outside of yourself, how do you confront, or not even confront, but how do you bring that up in a situation that keeps things grounded? Because a lot of people don't know how to do that, you know?
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
I would say the first place that I go to is, well, who is this person? So I immediately, this is funny. I immediately do a scan, like,
yo, you got to.
Of, okay, based off my experience thus far with this person, I can either, I guess you can say, make my decision based off of patterns I've observed, also upbringing, environment, everything that I at least have experienced with this person, from knowing them, and then reaction, non-reaction, non-verbals, etc. I put all of that together, and I'm also because the shadow aspect of that is coming off too, like, so sure, right? Yeah. Because then there's the assumption, right? So I'm working on that. So I do a scan and I say, okay, is this person open to me being able to directly say it in the way that I desire to say it, right? And for real. Honestly, it's like, well, I'm not gonna hold back, right? So I've got to figure out how to actually I attempt to be gentle. Sometimes I'm not. But I attempt to be gentle, and then I just say, or I'm learning to say, how I feel, what I am observing versus accusing or assuming, and asking more questions. And
because people get defensive in that. You know?
And that's okay, because it's like, oh, I'm just looking at myself. I'm looking at, like, a past version of myself, like, and a current version who just felt like that yesterday. Like, it's like, so that's the human experience, and it's accepting all of it. And then as we become, like, as we grow further in acceptance, then we can actually turn that thing into treasure, into gold, essentially, and begin to serve minerals, essentially, because that's unlocking further that which is within you. And so I would say, I approach, I guess, feeling like I know something, with knowing that I know nothing. Right? Knowing that even if I really truly know, let's just say we're talking about something very tangible, and someone's not being honest with me, it's okay. If anything needs to happen further, then I can address that. And then a lot of the times, when I am a little, like, hesitant to approach someone, I'll sit with it. I'll sit with it for a while until I...
Do you go into your mind about things in that realm, but also deeper than that, you know? Like, when you go into your mind and explore or look at those things, do those feel like barriers or things that you're hurdling over? Does it feel like safe when you go into those places, or do you feel like that's when you really, like, are digging to the depths of yourself and even farther than yourself, you know. How does that feel when you go internal like that?
Yeah, it feels kind of like what you said. It feels like it's almost like a movement. It feels like a ingrained, almost like what people mean when we say disappointment, dissatisfaction, which is something I'm working on as well. And so I sit with it because I don't remember when I developed the pattern. And so a lot of the time, so I'm not disappointed in myself in the sense that like I'm not okay, or that I'm not actually excited to know that something's there that I need to look at. So simultaneously I'm experiencing joy because I'm seeing closer, and I'm happy I see it now than later, right? It's like better
1000%.
now than later, and since I'm living now, I've got to live now, and so I've got to be happy about the fact that I don't got to be happy, but I'm going to choose to be happy about the fact that I have the opportunity, because what's worked for me is being in that space of being thankful for seeing the opportunity to transmute or transform something that previously hurt me or that I caused harm unto myself.
Wow.
Then things just continue to grow and show me that life is abundant and true faith. And this is why I really, really can we cuss on this show?
1000%.
I really fuck with Christ.
I think Christ would be proud.
You know,
I feel like that one's allowed. That's allowed on the show.
Yeah.
Jesus is the homeboy.
They said it's on the t-shirt. What's the difference? No, but because his message was just so simple, you know, time. And the parables and the metaphors and the poetry, it's meant to interpret, not so literal, which our system has condemned us to the literal interpretation of what he said. Yes. And we're talking about language written over 2,000 years ago, which is a different time. It's a different lingo. It's a different slang. It's a different thing.
Exactly.
And I mean, I could go on. That's another conversation.
Stay tuned. You never know.
Yeah, but when Christ just speaks, or the consciousness, if you will, that I feel, what he came to teach, what many of prophets and philosophers and yogis and teachers have come to teach us over time, is really just love and how to dissolve karma and how to move the body and how to have self-forgiveness, how to forgive, and really ultimately understanding thyself and knowing that forgiving thyself is forgiving thy neighbor, and exactly. And all of these. I mean, I always say 2 + 2 is 4. It's always 4.
Always.
And so if you apply, if you're sitting and if you're a rocket scientist, which they have way more formulas than I do, let's be clear, and figuring out how to travel, I mean, I'm just gonna say it here, people. That's fine. To Mars, right? And I'm not saying that formula is 2 + 2. You know,
at the end of the day, it's super. It all circles back.
Exactly. So that same issue that the rocket science might be having in order to understand time, in order to understand, I guess you can say, environmental materials, so and chemicals and substances and air quality and etc., or whatever it is, to like all of these systems exist within us.
Yeah.
And so if it works there, then it must work when I'm having a dilemma and or battle with, let's just say, something like anxiety. Right? These, if you apply the same formula that you're using to travel in time, right? And then you can use that same formula to travel throughout the mind in order to
heal.
In order to heal, but in order to begin thinking differently, as in developing a connection with the heart. And listening to the heart and allowing the heart to neurologically switch the old patterns of thinking by applying the same equation. Now, I'm just speaking very loosely here because I don't have an example of an equation. But
that's so good though.
Yeah.
Damn. It's like connecting that when the heart and the mind connect, and it's a whole other atmosphere, it's a whole other vibration. You know, and most people don't know how to connect it because, like you said, like we might not have tapped into the right formula for the right time. Like everyone, we might take it too literal at times. Like it's always hidden in plain sight because it's hidden in us, and that's looking at the thing, right? You know, and that's like going deep inside of us to say like, yo, I've been holding on to this since then, but how would I know I've been holding on to it since then? Well, because we're so wrapped up in everything we're doing that like we miss the things. Like I was telling you today, I missed the thing when I was younger because I was so in it, I guess, or I just wasn't looking around. But that's looking internally, and also, like you were saying, that just new connection to, you're thinking so differently and outside of the box, and that's the vibration that you're putting off for people around you, and that's connection with self. And we're not numbing out anymore, you know.
Right.
And that's like, ever since I met you, you showed me how to look at the thing right in front of my face and not run away from it, because you can run away from it. Because these things are scary sometimes when they're the unknown. It's like, well, there's so much beauty in the unknown. It's just like, you don't know what it's gonna look like. So are you scared of what it's gonna look like, or are you scared of just doing it, you know? And when you make that next step to just do it, it's like the possibilities open up, and there's so much that when you allow yourself to let all of that in, there's no escaping it, you know, because it's like so abundant. There's so much of it because you've allowed yourself to look at that part that has been keeping you locked up, you know. And that's like the work every single day is, now that I know how to release or transmute these things, how do I stay in that, you know, and how do I keep going at it and having a level-headed mind and a clear mind about it, because that's where things get foggy and then we miss out.
So I think it's cool to like sort of dissect some of these things that we're talking about, just in case anybody wants that, and you know,
1000%.
So what are some of the things that you do when you're grounding or when you're moving or releasing something? I guess you can say, what things are you exercising, modalities, artistic, creative ways? What things are you using to transmute?
Recently, 2021, yoga, like once or twice a day. Literally didn't know how open I could be, and how it's like you can feel some of those heart yoga poses get me. And the other day I was like I thought I was gonna pass out. I walked over to the bed because my heart just felt so open, and like just felt like it was beaming. And I was literally just doing one yoga pose, and I was like moving that energy out of your body and breathing. And I mean, we do breath work and ice baths at the Ridge, and like, I mean, so many grounding, like whatever you can do to ground yourself in that. But also, like, showers for me are very just like, they'll just be a slap in the face, because it's like, yo, you gotta get your shit together right now. Like, if I'm in the shower, it's because I need to like cleanse my body. And it feels like if I visualize the water cleansing me, and I'm a Pisces too, and I haven't dove into that like crazy, but I feel that energy of like fish and the water, and feel like whatever that energy is there with me, and I just need to tap into that more. So I feel like also hape, when we do hape, sananga, like, and for more context, if people don't know that, you could probably give more context to that. But
hape is and if anyone, this is paraphrased, right? I don't have everything correct, but hape is a Peruvian medicine, or Amazonian medicine, I should say, not just Peruvian, but it's tobacco, and can include other herbs and plants or plant ashes to create what's, I guess you can say, like a sniff. It's like a powder. It's mostly known and used for in plant ceremonies, and shamans typically take the hape and they put it in this tool, which is called a tepe, which is a serving tool, and blows it up your sinus here, like a direct angle going up. And what it does is it literally clears any fogginess, clears sinuses, mucus, and you have this really, I guess you can say, high sensory sense of clarity. And it also helps to move energy off of you. So similar to like sage and Palo Santo and all these things, it clears energy. It can be intense too. And then there's also a serving. Once you've been served, you can serve yourself, and that tool is called a kuripe, and you serve yourself. And so you so sometimes we sit in ceremony and we we release in that way. And then sananga, that's a liquid or eye drops. It is known for hunters. Native hunters would use this and go out and hunt at night because it improved their eyesight. So it literally helps you to see clear, not just here, but intuitively as well, and in the heart. And it literally has the potential to heal eye ailments and anything associated in that area of the so
eyeballs.
That's hape and sananga.
Fire. Yo, when I was doing hape in the shower, like, and it's very grounding too. Like, if you've never felt grounded before, this will show you, like, did hop and it felt like somebody like kicked me on the soccer field, and like my face just slid into the grass and the mud, and then I just like, and it literally cured my allergies. I was so allergic to so much stuff, and we did it almost every day. And I literally just realized how much I was just holding in. My parents used to be like, Nolan, are you going to blow your nose? Like, because I was just like, do shit like that. And I'm like, just sucking it back in. When now I'm just like, get it out. Like, I know how much when you store things in your body, they just add up over time. And stuff like grounding medicines and yoga, honestly, music, everything we've been doing here at this church, like just staying in the work, I think. And work, like, it's not really work, because
it's like fun.
it's
like the work
fun.
It should be
It should be fun and play.
exactly yeah.
And that's the shadow talk. What we're talking about is like when you go after these things or look at these things, even though they might look tough or hard, you can have fun in it. And like, there's so many times where I've just wanted to give up or like say fuck all of this, I'm done, like smash my computer. Just like times where I'm just like, I've had it, and then it's like, wait, you could just cop out right now, but why? Like, why are you just gonna dip after everything you've done? Like, you're just gonna let it go for what? And then looking at myself in that and being like, well, am I just unmotivated, or do I not have that internal peace where the external events or the external things are affecting me so much that I don't know who I am anymore? And that's where it's like finding that inner peace is literally where we will find unity, is when everyone is in alignment with themselves and knows their authentic self, and then we become formless. That's when we shift into this new realm, is where we have forgiven ourselves and seen ourselves where, like you said, Christ, like fuck with Christ, because it was just love. It was just love everyone as you love yourself, but we don't love ourselves anymore because of the external has affected our internal so much. So it's like a fine line.
Yeah, actually, as you're talking, I have a clarification to make just on, loving oneself, but also the power to choose and free will. And I think there is something to be said, in my opinion, in the, I'm just going to use the word spiritual community, if that's even a phrase or a thing, because that's like a thing now. That's like a stereotypical, some people express it with like uneasiness or easiness. And I think that understanding that not everyone will choose to understand further within themselves in this lifetime.
Damn.
And it's not, and that's the very reason that's at the focal point of exactly where we are, because what we're experiencing today, be it love or not, and what we're seeing in our world politically and socially and economically, is a reflection of not accepting that thing. And in the law of one, law of one, if you haven't heard about it, it's a great read and experience, really, I'll call it. And
truly
Ra, who is delivering these messages through a woman named Carla Ruckert in the 70s and 80s. Ross says, an infringement upon one's free will, right? They, I should say, use this phrase, infringement upon one's free will due to the law of free will, which is basically consent.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we've been, I guess you can say, as a society or group, have been sort of confronting through specifically the media and male and female relationships and etc. Let me include all my people, they, them, those who don't identify with male or female. This is the epitome of where we are in our evolution. They talk a lot about this and how we are moving into essentially our hearts, right? Or the fourth chakra. But yeah, so just clarifying that, like, it's really not, though it can be so simple. And I think this is what the youth teach us, which is why I appreciate you so much, because you teach me how to compute things really fast that I'm already thinking, or that I needed a different angle on, and to get there sort of faster. And I guess humans are sort of obsessed with convenience and getting somewhere fast, and we're learning to slow down.
Balance that. Right,
learning to slow down. But we have the potential of going like from here to here in like 90-degree angles so quick, like faster than a second. Instantly, right? And you
thought you could get an Amazon package instantly
in 24 hours, right?
You can change your perspective,
or 2 hours,
instantly. Like, and that we get so caught up in our patterns that we think that they define us,
right? But this is the reason, this is where I'm sort of headed, is that my friend Rocco said this to me this way, and I like the way that he said it, so I like to use that or recycle that.
That's
Spirit good. Is, or maybe he was reading me something. Spirit is prior to the mind, it's prior to the body. So when we're feeling, that's the indicator of the direction in which we should take.
Damn.
But the mind, due to trauma, has shifted those feelings into a thought form, or a thought that is actually not in support of the feeling. And so we can imagine that after, say, something happened at 5, you're not thinking the same way when you're 15 or when you're 25 or when you're 35. And so the feeling, though, is, say, maybe you couldn't go outside with your friends and it hurt really bad at 5, has turned into, whenever you feel that feeling, once you started to have more thoughts and more words and more definitions for things, of missing out or loss or any of these feelings that is related to that experience, when really it was just the fact that you couldn't go outside. And so those things
so much have on it,
right, and they've caused like a physical muscle memory, and wherever that's building, if it's not looked at, causes physical ailment. So no matter if it's the flu or cancer or diabetes and these things, these are not just the result of our eating habits, though a huge contributor. It's initially the belief that's building on and on and on, and then the body's not able to balance itself biochemically, and so it contributes, and
it just adds on, it just piles on top,
right? And this is where compassion comes in, and this is why Christ is so dope, because it's like, I understand that within myself.
Good wordage.
Therefore, I see you. And meeting people where they are, because that is making the distinction automatically is subconsciously saying we or some are better or lower, or there's some type of comparison in that way, right? And so we've really got to be careful. It's really tricky, the mind. It's really like the ego will really try to get, because they're also reliving or we're dissolving our ancestors' karma as well, and we're also in this world where if we're not paying attention to our energy, then we can not always be protected, and things can attach themselves, and so we never really know, like all these masks, right? And as we continue to peel these masks off, we get closer to the onion. It's like that's kind of like the most painful right before this, like
right before the gold. It's
like that, because that's honestly the point in which a human being chooses to really pivot if they have to learn. It's only until you recognize or we realize that we don't have to suffer.
It's suffering, a choice.
It's a choice, but it's a part of it, and it's a beautiful aspect of it, right? But it's not necessary. But not to be confused with, it's okay to feel and experience suffering, because this is a part of how we're learning and where we are in our evolution. Honestly, as a species, we're still figuring that out, but eventually that's where we'll be. I do want to talk some like creatively seeing, like, I don't know if you guys know, but Nolan is like, his genius is very, very like obvious. Like the way that you see and are able to express that through whether it's some type of design digitally, or the way that you take a picture, or the way that you set up your room, or the way that you make a beat, or the way that you speak to a person. It's like your heart shows so much, and you just being you, you're literally just you. And it's like,
thank you.
I like you for being you. And it's really beautiful to watch and inspiring. And so many people who meet you have this same thing to say. Like, it's, when we can, I always say, if I had me at your age, like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, God.
Like, fuck.
And not just me, but everyone. And I think that sometimes we as adults, whatever that means, can sort of miss the mark with the youth or our children, because we're not supporting the ideas and the enthusiasm and the visions that they're having. We're saying, no, you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to go here, and I'm your mom or I'm your dad, and I tell you what to do. And therefore one becomes, a teenager, and then 25, and then 36, and then 42, and then 68, and then like, no, honestly,
those
and then
good numbers.
Yeah, I don't even know. Somebody play that number and tell me what you. No, I was saying I'm from Akron. We gotta play the lotto. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, and then it's like, I've realized back that far. It's not like I don't think we've realized that we're closer to the thing we just came from, which we still are, which we always have been, which is source. Now, whether you use the word God or Allah or Jah is okay with me, right? Because semantics, right? And then, yeah. And so the younger you are, the easier it is to realize I am.
Yeah.
You are.
Exactly.
What this also
they're
with
so
this
free.
what this dimension is as well too. Like this material experience, this human experience. Like, what is this? And so to be able to see that in you and to see how like you don't have baggage or things. I mean, you have your things, right? Like teenagers are teenagers, that's a thing. Like, everybody know when you say teenagers, like everybody knows exactly what that means.
Yeah. Everyone can associate to something.
Yeah, exactly. We know how it was. But to see someone with like not caring so much and knowing that is accessible to us at every moment, and your reminder of that reflection, because I look at it like, okay, there are a lot of things that I can learn from you, and that ultimately you're a teacher of mine. And so like the things you move through or create really quickly is something that is serving me and helping me understand like the inner computer a lot. Through your reflection, like through looking at you, I can like update, if you will, on things that I hadn't, that have been kind of like dormant. You help me to like bring those things up. So
that's like that's all I could ask for, you know, is to be seen in that way. Because the same is for you. I see you in that way too. Like I was saying, like you showed me how to get to the thing and look at it. So then now that I've already seen it, I'm interpreting it in a new way. So it's like what I'm putting out of what I'm learning, trying to comprehend, and to even just inspire somebody by me being me. That's so dope to hear that reflection and feel like, okay, it is cool to be me, because I just want to be me, and everyone else can be themselves too. Yeah. And once we all live in that, how inspired are we going to be by every single person we see? Because then nobody looks the same. Nobody is trying to be someone else. We all just are divinely unique, but we're all one. So it's like seeing each other in those differences, because it's what makes us unique, is how we grow and how we evolve. Like without your reflection, I wouldn't be evolving in the things that you've done basically for everyone else, because you figuring out the things inside of yourself, now you are presenting that to the world and being like, yo, I've worked through this thing, here you go, you can look at that, and if you need some help or you need some inspiration in that category, I got you.
Or really, like, it's kind of like why we have research studies, right? Because it's just like somebody went and looked for the thing and figured out how to get it to the people, and so it's fast. The time is
just cut.
The time is cut, and so, but then again,
calculators.
Someone's got to want. It's all free will. It's like someone's got to actually desire that, and if not,
exactly.
But yeah, when the will is there, like you said, like 2+, that's when you apply that's exactly when you apply the equation. Is, if that worked for that recipe there, then surely if I do this same thing, if I take a shower or do hape, and I continue to have faith, surely it will dissolve.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to control the time or the outcome. though I know it's up to me to actually move with the momentum, to actually flow and listen and hear. It's up to me to
For
choose
real.
to actually
Be
be
present
moved.
in that. Well, yes. Thank you for those words. This is very inspiring. It felt like this is just a start to something massive. We like opened up little portals of topics and things that it's like, all right, we'll put that up, pin that up.
Yeah.
But we definitely have a lot more to talk about. Shadow talks. You got any last words for the people? I mean, wait, sorry. Before you answer, I just gotta hype the songs up that we're making, yo.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for everyone to hear what we've been working on. You've been working on this for a minute, yo. Like, it feels like a collection of a lot of highlight moments that are being reworked and like new energy put into it, and then whatever I'm stirring up, like new creativity, new voice. I'm pumped for what. And we have a song together too.
Yeah.
Yo, it's done.
We're working on albums right now, and we're working on music for the Holy Carnival, and it's been magical. It's been honestly one beautiful experience that I can't describe in words. It's literally solely a feeling. And I almost feel like a balloon that's about to pop. Just
real.
Amazed, but not surprised at how beautiful and abundant life is and can be if we will only receive and allow.
Truly. And
receiving has been one of the most difficult things for us to do as humans, because we live in such a high stimulus environment. And so it's literally getting the nervous system to calm so much that you stop responding to all the stimuli around, and we realize this. And so joy can be experienced alongside deep pain. And someone say easier said than done, and I say, what's the worst that can happen? That you find some sort of peace or appreciation for having the opportunity to see the thing. And some things are not easy, I admit, and for that reason I say I say my friends, I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. I say my friends that it's okay how you feel, and surely everything is possible. And so when everything is temporary, everything is possible. And so
that's a fucking t-shirt right there.
When everything is temporary. Okay, that's the first time I said that too.
Damn.
But yeah, shout out to all our friends and working on this project, and I'm sure you all are getting to meet the members of the team, and just the entire network of people and beautiful interactions that we've had with so many people across the world, and some of our close friends who taught us so much. And so so much love. And so thank you. I am honored to be a guest on your show.
I feel like this will be our show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie.
Cool. Let's do it. So honored to be a first guest on our show. And
thank you for sitting down and doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
This is very fun.
Yeah, this is Me and Nolan are very much similar in many ways. Pretty cool. Except he got the tech skills.
Hey, but she cool with the Instagram story. If there's one person, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna pass the phone. I hope it's a tree. Like if I'm out tonight and I got it, the story's gotta be up. Pass it to Tree. She'll know what to do.
Word. Shouts. Thank you.
But much love. We're coming to you soon. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right. Peace.